like in a microwave. It was so bad.
It's just scorching hot, man. Yeah, just came outside and it feels like a blow dryer.
The weekend getting started with soaring temperatures across the West, warnings and advisories in effect. Good evening and welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Christian Cafton. People enduring the highest temps of this weekend's warm-up are in the Southwest. Excessive and extreme heat warnings are in effect in Las Vegas Valley and Arizona's Lake Mead National Recreation Area. Let's take a look now at Las Vegas, where temperatures could stay above 100 degrees until late tonight. And in parts of California, temperatures reached triple digits today. In Santa Clara County, advocates handed out cold bottled water to the homeless. There are also 14 cooling centers open to provide people with relief from the heat. New this year, the San Martin Animal Shelter now has a place for people with pets to cool down.
In the same weather that you or I would be hot in, your pet gets hot in that weather too, and they need access to a cool place just like you and I do.
Shelter officials say dogs must be leashed at all times and cats must be brought in a crate or a harness. And Mark joining us now with a look at that weather. Mark Tamayo, that weather, when I look at that southwest region, 104, ooh, when I see that pink, I know it's hot.
Yeah, definitely. We're approaching summer, Christian, and those temperatures really, the hot temperatures really building in this week. Take a look at some of the highs from today, and those bright colors do reflect that real intense heat out there. You can see Phoenix, 104 degrees, Las Vegas, 103, Palm Springs, 103, but that heat's kind of working its way up to the north as well. Sacramento, 100 degrees, and Redding up in Northern California, 105 degrees this afternoon. Even San Jose in the Bay Area in the lower 90s and a heat advisory for today. The extreme heat, as you can see, focused in this area in parts of California and in Nevada. In fact, we do have an extreme heat warning for today right on into Saturday to start off the weekend. So the heat's still a big time factor. And then in the Bay Area, heat advisory day 2 for tomorrow continues in these areas. It will be the last hot day of the stretch here for the San Francisco Bay Area, but still the hottest locations could be in the mid to upper 90s. San Francisco warmed up today, but not nearly as hot as the inland spots in the valleys, but still a nice 75 degrees this afternoon. In Seattle, we're showing you a sun-cloud mix. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Rain chances return in their forecast for tomorrow. And then in the Phoenix area, we talked about the heat and also some scattered high clouds drifting into parts of Arizona, and there's that 104 earlier today. Right now in Las Vegas, it is 101 degrees. LAX reporting 68. Reno, look at that, 93 degrees. And then some 80s in Portland and Seattle right now checking in 74. Here is the plan for the Phoenix area tomorrow. And once again, temperatures approaching the triple digits for your Saturday forecast. As we check out the satellite, you can see a system in the Pacific approaching Seattle and Portland. So we're going to cloud things up for tonight into tomorrow. And once again, just like the past few days, we are tracking some showers in portions of Colorado, moving into parts of New Mexico and Arizona as well. So here's the plan for tomorrow. This system will boost the shower chances or rain chances up in Seattle for the Saturday outlook. Warm to hot for a good portion in California, especially just a few miles inland. We talked about the heat closer to Phoenix and some more sunshine in the Denver area for tomorrow. Here's how the forecast model sees it as we put it into motion. This is Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, and once again we're watching that system progress and move into the Pacific Northwest, and maybe still once again some scattered high clouds drifting into the Phoenix area. There's even a chance of a few scattered showers in Southern California as the system offshore kind of approaches that area as we head into the weekend. So we're talking about some clouds, a shower chance, and still some warm to hot temperatures in Los Angeles. You can see back up to the 80s for tomorrow. Phoenix 101 degrees, San Francisco approaching 70, and there we go, that shower chance up in the Seattle area for tomorrow. But just it's kind of been the theme all week long where the heat is building in. Just be extra careful. We're talking about some dangerous heat across parts of the West. Christian.
Absolutely. Mark Tamayo, a lot of people looking for that relief. Thank you so much. With the hot weather happening now and in the forecast, public health leaders are reminding people to protect themselves from the heat. According to the CDC, there are several kinds of illnesses and injuries to watch out for, including dehydration, heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, sunburns, and heat rashes. Earlier today, we spoke with an emergency physician at Kaiser Permanente. Among other things, she mentioned the importance of using sunscreen.
With sunscreen, the more the better. If you are going to be in direct sun, so we want you putting it on ahead of time. You know, if you're already in the sun and applying, it's kind of too late at that point. So put it on ahead of time, reapply it every few hours. I'm a big fan of the higher numbers, but anything is better than nothing. And I am just going to put it out there. So sunscreen is really important, but if you're really going to have a lot of sun exposure, protective clothing is even better.
Right.
And that's a hat, long sleeved, you know, kind of lighter colored, long sleeved, and lighter weight clothing so that you don't get, you know, overheated in it, but it does protect you from the sun.
Health experts also saying everyone should wear sunscreen regardless of their skin tone or ethnicity. In Oregon, Governor Tina Kotek is formally asking for a presidential disaster declaration to help reimburse the state for millions of dollars spent on response and recovery for this year's deadly floods. The funds would go to Coos, Curry, Douglas, and Harney counties and would be used for road repair, public buildings, and utilities. From mid-February to mid-April, an historic combination of severe storms, record rainfall, and rapid snowmelt all worked together to cause landslides and massive infrastructure failure. One woman died after being swept away in a flooded creek in the Cascades in March. Human remains have been discovered in an area off Alaska's coast where a family disappeared nearly a year ago. Alaska State Troopers say the remains of 3 people were inside a sunken boat in Ketchimamak Bay, south of Anchorage. The state's medical examiner's office is working to identify those remains. Private search teams have been looking for the family of 4 from Texas in this area for months. And we have an update tonight on a major bust of suspected fraudsters in the West. Fox's Matt Finn spoke with investigators who believe the suspects got away with $30 million in taxpayer money.
This is the police. We have a warrant. Come out with your hands up.
Fox News exclusively capturing Homeland Security's sunrise bust of this Armenian-born man at his LA area home. The suspect, who uses the alias William McGrayan, surrenders with his hands over his head. Investigators say McGrayan is the brains of a transnational crime ring that stole $30 million in COVID relief and small business loans meant to help tax-paying Americans.
If you're engaged in fraud, if you're taking money from the government that doesn't belong to you, your door could be the next one that we're hitting.
According to court documents, an informant describes McGrayan as unhinged, claiming he talked about his ties to gangs in Armenia and threatened one person with a gun and a baseball bat. In the multi-agency sting led by DHS, 14 people were taken into custody.
The suspects are simultaneously arrested across town so they can't tip one another off, and then they're brought to this special processing center to be booked.
The suspects are charged with conspiracy, wire and bank fraud, and money laundering. Investigators say multiple shell companies were created using phony documents. Some of the money was spent on homes and luxury goods. The rest was wired to Armenia, making it harder for the U.S. to trace. Most were born in Armenia but have become naturalized here in the U.S. At least one faces deportation. In Los Angeles, Matt Finn, Fox News.
New developments now in the efforts to overturn the murder conviction of Scott Peterson. Peterson was convicted of killing his pregnant wife, Lacey, in 2002. The bodies of Lacey and their unborn son were found in the San Francisco Bay. The Los Angeles Innocence Project says it has new evidence and witness statements proving Peterson's innocence. The Mercury News reports that the California Court of Appeals rejected their petition to examine that evidence and directed attorneys to return their case to San Mateo County, where the original trial was held. The paper says Peterson's attorneys will file a new petition there.
Bees was not on my bingo card for today. The thought is that as the temperatures drop, the bees will go back into the hives.
Yeah, though the bees are not back yet. Coming up, the crash that let 250 million of the insects escape in Washington. Closures in the area expected to last for days. Plus, it's like a scene out of a movie. We will break down what caused the massive sinkhole that's swallowing cars in Southern California. To Washington now, where 250 million bees escaped after a truck overturned in Whatcom County. Dozens of beekeepers showing up to the scene to help rehive those bees. Reporter Shira Matsuzawa has the latest on the crash investigation.
You better believe this is the talk of the town right now, as well as online. We're talking about more than 200 million bees. And if I step out of the way, you can see the scene out here right now. You can see there are road closures. And further down the road is really the area that we're focused on. That's where there is a swarm of bees and the hives there. But in all seriousness, crews have a plan to capture those bees, and they're asking the public to stay away from this area while they do it. In case you're wondering, that truck was transporting bees to pollinate at different fields when that crash happened. The plan now is to help the bees rehive, and they do that by finding their queen bee. Beekeepers were here on scene all day long to help that process. And I spoke with the Deputy Director of Emergency Management for the Whatcom County Sheriff's Office, Matt Klein. He told me he's been stung at least a dozen times today, but in his 12 years working in this field, he told me this was a first for him.
Bees was not on my bingo card for today. The thought is that as the temperatures drop, the bees will go back into the hives that they've managed to set back up from the truck and recover, because the bees know where their home is, and hopefully they'll be able to get them back loaded up tomorrow, and then able to get back out to doing the work that the bees need to do.
Matt says White Camp Road will remain closed probably through tomorrow morning or early afternoon, but people who live around here can still pass through. The goal is to save as many bees as possible. As for the driver, they're okay aside from some bee stings. And Matt tells me as for the community response, well, that's been sweeter than honey today. He says beekeeper organizations from all over Whatcom County, as well as Skagit and Snohomish counties, have all come out here to help today. In Whatcom County, Shira Matsuzawa, Fox 13 News.
Another bizarre scene is unfolding in Southern California. A massive sinkhole has formed in Ventura, northeast of Los Angeles. It's the site of an apartment complex under construction. The hole has already swallowed multiple vehicles. A nearby auto repair shop and residential structure have been red tagged as a precautionary measure. City leaders say the hole was caused by the failure of temporary construction shoring. They're working with the construction company to evaluate the situation and determine appropriate repairs. There are no reports of anyone being hurt. A Southern California jewelry store is robbed of millions after robbers conducted a destructive break-in. Thieves broke through the building's roof and used blowtorches to break into the store's safes. Peterson family, a family-run business in Glendale, was the target of that burglary. The robbers of the safes, the thieves there, ransacked the store.
The ceiling where they're getting us from, the ceiling, the roof. I have it fortified in the front, the side walls, motion detectors everywhere, but I didn't have any alarms or cameras on the roof. On the roof is what would have probably captured all of this before they even had a chance to start cutting.
This robbery comes just 2 days after another jewelry store in Simi Valley was targeted. In that case, thieves went through a coffee shop next door and used power tools to cut through a concrete wall and a safe. Sheriff's deputies in the Portland, Oregon area say they've made their largest drug bust in history. Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies and FBI agents seized more than 278 pounds of meth and 2 pounds of cocaine last weekend. Investigators say the drugs were in a rental car being driven by a man who lives southeast of Portland. They stopped the car after learning the suspect may have been planning to go to California to sell those drugs. Investigators say they also found 2 guns when they searched the suspect's home. They have not identified the suspect at this point or listed the charges he'll be facing. And a new survey conducted in the West shows consumers are demanding better service from all airlines. Taking a live look now at the activity outside of the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, that survey also shows travelers prefer some airlines over others. Fox 31's Shaul Turner got some insight on the state of travel from passengers in Colorado.
What's the most annoying thing about traveling in the summer on an airplane?
Flight delays.
Spent a night in the Detroit airport once.
Many travelers expect some mishaps to occur during airline travel.
Weather dependent. Like you can look at today, like there's not a whole lot the airlines can do there.
But the Colorado Public Interest Research Group released a study that shows travelers are coping with more issues than ever before.
But some of those airlines are actually pulling back some of their service, and so combine that with some of the air traffic control problems that we've seen, and now is more than ever is an important time to be prepared ahead of time.
It's kind of frustrating because you're expecting to get to a place at a certain time.
The Plain Truth Report, analyzing 67,000 complaints, shows delays, cancellations, mishandling of bags, and overbooking were up in 2024.
You can do better. I mean, some airlines are doing a better job of making sure that those problems either aren't coming up or to the extent they're coming up, they're being addressed.
But Frontier, United, and Southwest Airlines were named as some of the worst offenders. United tells Fox 31 the airline has invested $1 billion in efforts to improve the customer experience and adds the first 4 months of 2025 have been one of United's best operational starts to any year, with United ranking first in on-time departures among the 8 largest U.S. carriers. Southwest tells Fox 31 it has been recognized by J.D. Power as the best airline for economy class customer satisfaction. Coperg advises anyone with complaints to report them to the airline first and then consumer advocacy groups.
People were having a really hard time getting refunds when their flight was canceled. And so policymakers acted, and now we have a legal right. If your flight is canceled for any reason whatsoever, you're entitled to a refund.
And that was Fox 31's Shaul Turner reporting. According to the Points Guide, airlines are forecasting a record summer travel season. The Industry Trade Association told the website 272 million people are expected to fly between June 1st and August 31st. That is up 271 million over the same period last year. The U.S. Supreme Court today cleared the way for the Trump administration to strip temporary legal protections from hundreds of thousands of immigrants. The justices lifted a lower court order that had kept humanitarian parole protections in place for more than 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The Trump administration says the Biden-era policies weren't in line with immigration law. The decision comes after the court allowed the administration to revoke temporary protections against deportations from about 350,000 Venezuelan migrants in another case. The court did not explain its rulings. And the latest government data shows inflation continuing to cool despite concerns about tariffs causing higher prices for Americans. The Commerce Department says consumer prices rose 2.1% in April compared to last year, down from 2.3% in March. But there's still a lot of uncertainty. Consumer spending is down despite rising incomes in the U.S. Today, President Trump praised an appeals court ruling yesterday that allowed most of the tariffs to continue during the legal battle.
Tariffs are so important, and that's why we were so happy with the decision yesterday where the tariffs continue, because without the tariffs, our nation would be imperiled.
The concerns are that what the president has done is ordered tariffs under an emergency statute. He's declared an emergency, and then we've seen the result has been the chaos of all these tariffs.
The group suing the Trump administration over tariffs represents small businesses. They argue that the president doesn't have unlimited powers to impose tariffs. Well, there's a new push to build up the monarch butterfly population in the West coming up. What people behind this effort think is the key to success. Plus, trapped by a 700-pound boulder in Alaska. The man who survived this ordeal is now sharing how he made it out alive.
You know, in Alaska, people don't usually survive that. So I was very lucky. You know, God was looking out for me.
A man in Alaska is alive today after a boulder that came tumbling down in an avalanche pinned him in place for hours, threatening his life. 61-year-old Kel Morris and his wife, former Alaska State Trooper Joe Roop, took a hike over the holiday weekend in the Kenai Peninsula on an undeveloped trail with large boulders. Morris slipped, which started a rock avalanche with a 700-pound boulder coming down to rest on him. He was pinned down in rising water there for 3 hours. Now, his wife managed to find a signal with her phone and sent GPS coordinates to rescuers, and the National Guard came there and they pulled him to safety.
I was doubtful that there was going to be a good outcome. And then by the end, towards the end, you know, especially as I was starting to get weaker and weaker, I had a feeling these guys were so professional. They knew exactly what they were doing. The confidence in their voices and in what they were doing, I knew, you know, it's like, I'm fine now.
Yeah, remarkably, Morris got away with only minor injuries. The city leaders in Scottsdale, Arizona have a plan they think will help an insect that's in trouble in the West. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen shows us what they're doing to boost the monarch butterfly population.
The city of Scottsdale is essentially becoming a monarch city. The mayor signed the Monarch Pledge. It means they're going to build more butterfly gardens and educate the public so that in the fall, the skies are filled with the beautiful insects. So let's check out some of these butterfly gardens all throughout the city of Scottsdale. This one at the Granite Reef Senior Center is beautiful. They got all the good stuff that the butterflies love, especially the milkweed. They're obsessed with the milkweed. These butterfly gardens really are all over. This is Pima Park, a lot of beautiful flowers out here. You can't do a story on butterflies and not actually see any butterflies, right? So we headed to Butterfly Wonderland here, which, by the way, is in Scottsdale. This is the Butterfly Conservatory, the largest one in the U.S. We have Adrian here, and your nickname is Miss Monarch, right?
It is, it is. I love monarchs so much that I got that moniker.
And the monarch population, it's dwindled a lot over the last 20 years.
It has, about 90% over 20 years, so it's a big decline. City of Scottsdale is planting more gardens all over the city. Planting milkweed, that's the key thing for this butterfly. This butterfly right here, the only plant it lays its eggs on is milkweed. We have a brand new butterfly. It was born today. It is a monarch. I'm gonna put it on your hand and it'll take its first flight.
This is its release right here. This is its first flight.
There it goes.
So if milkweed is so important to butterflies, let's learn a little bit more about how to grow it. We're at Moon Valley Nurseries right now. We've got Tony, an absolute expert in this. How easy is it to actually grow milkweed?
I mean, it is easy. Butterflies will probably munch on it faster than you can grow it, but you can grow milkweed by seed and you can actually propagate by cuttings as well. So you can grow them by both. Butterflies do love other things. You know, they love wildflowers. They're attracted to lantana, which grows everywhere. Milkweed is what they love the most.
This butterfly garden at Rotary Park is absolutely beautiful. So do your part. Plant some milkweed like this and enjoy the butterflies. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
And finally tonight, the mural of Lakers legend Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna has been restored after being vandalized. The mural is located in downtown Los Angeles, less than a mile from the Lakers' home Crypto.com arena. It was painted after Kobe Bryant and his daughter died in a helicopter crash in 2020. Vandals left graffiti on the mural back in April. Lakers star Luka Doncic donated $5,000 to have that mural restored. The art installation features Kobe kissing Gianna along with the words "Mambas Forever," a reference to Kobe's nickname, Black Mamba. Very nice to see that that's restored. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on West Coast Wrap. We have a great night and a great weekend.